Welcome to K-Drama School. I'm your host, Grace Jung, and class is now in session. A show called Successful Story of a Bright Girl, also known as 명랑 소녀 성공기. It's an SBS drama that came out in 2002 and it stars Jang-hyuk and Jang-nara. I love this show and I love the two actors very much. I think they have great chemistry on this program. It's a drama, but it's not like a depressing drama, you know? Like, yeah, there are moments, but it's not the kind of show that makes you feel hopeless and devastated every once in a while, like a lot of Korean dramas tend to. And if you've seen Crash Landing on You, you know how Seri and Lee Jung-hyuk meet, right? They meet because Seri goes paragliding and crash lands in North Korea, very close to the DMZ. And in the case with Successful Story of a Bright Girl, which came out 19 years ago, Han Gi-tae and Cha Young-sun pretty much meet the same way. When the rich boy Han Gi-tae goes paragliding and then he crash lands in Yang-sun's outdoor bathtub. That's right. By outdoor bathtub, I do not mean a jacuzzi. Yang-sun is not some baller-ass bitch living out in the desert, okay? I'm talking about, like, the poverty-stricken type of outdoor bathing. Because, you know, some houses don't have indoor plumbing, and so they need to heat water and pour it into a larger basin that is outside. And this show was written by a man, actually. A man named Lee Hee-myung. He wrote some other shows that are some fan favorites, like Rooftop Prince and The Girl Who Can See Sense, right? And most recently, he wrote Reunited Worlds, which I have not seen. I probably won't see it. It makes sense to me that a man wrote Successful Story of a Bright Girl because even though Yang-sun, played by Jang-nara, is at the center of the story, it's really the man, Han Gi-tae, played by Jang-hyuk, whose plight has the most focus. Okay, so you typically see shows where the young woman, she's an orphan and she's working class and she's working her way up the social ladder. But this had a very unique storyline where the man is an orphan, but he's not poor. He starts out very, very wealthy. And then later on something happens and he loses all of his wealth, but then he makes it back. It's fine. Both Jang-hyuk and Jang-nara are staples of Korean dramas at the turn of the 21st century. And Jang-nara was in two hit Korean dramas in 2002. Okay, so she did Successful Story, which is this one. And then she did another one with Kim Ne-won, like right almost immediately thereafter. Or maybe she was shooting both of them at the same time. I don't know. But it's called My Love Pachi, which was actually an awful drama. It sucked. It was terrible. I don't recommend it. She also had a hit K-pop song called Sweet Dream, and that just was like a mega hit. You know, even though people in the industry, they kept telling her that she doesn't have what it takes to be a star, she made it huge with that song. It was a huge hit. And you could listen to it. You could look it up on YouTube. Look up Jang-nara and Sweet Dream. It's a very bubbly, cheesy song. It's like taking 8 bubble gums and sticking it in your mouth at once, and then also pouring maple syrup down your throat at the same time. Like, that's how overly sweet it is, and it's so fucking cheesy. But back then, that song slapped. Okay, Jang-nara mostly is known for her K-pop career as a singer. That's how she started out. But, of course, nowadays that's not so much the case, right? Jang-nara talks about her early career days in show business on the talk variety show Happy Together, okay, which is hosted by yuh-jung. And she talks about her overwork, overworking lifestyle, right? She mentions how she had to work for 5 days straight without any sleep at all. Like somebody literally was assigned to sit next to her and wake her up every time she started nodding off. I mean, that's how much she was tortured, okay? So Changnara would have these mental and emotional breakdowns because she was so overworked and lacking of sleep. Her father was her manager, but I guess he really neglected her health greatly, and it took a toll because even though Changnara is in many TV shows, many Korean dramas, and she's extremely popular in China, okay, she suffers long-term damage from workplace abuse, okay? So she has panic attacks and she has anxiety attacks quite regularly from what I hear, from what I've read. The fact that K-pop stars are overworked and abused is no surprise, all right? This has been the case and it continues to be the case because the people who designed the K-pop star system militarized it, okay? It was militarized men who designed this system. So when you look at the K-pop star industry, it's really a combination of the military industrial complex with old school indentured servitude economics. Okay, and that's pretty much how the sex industry also functions among camp towns in Korea near the U.S. military bases. All right, but this also shows how the sex work industry also works around the world. Right, indentured servitude is found in every facet of body work around the globe. And you see this in strip clubs in the United States. You also see it in relationships between pimps and body workers. It's quite ridiculous how little women get paid for body labor. I said this before about the Korean TV industry and the film industry, but this applies for the K-pop industry. There must be labor unions. There must be labor rights. A vertically integrated management system for stars, they need to end immediately. They need to be broken up, okay? The fact that a lawyer and an agent and a manager are all in one company to manage a star is not okay. That means that the star has zero power, no agency, no say. So all of that needs to change. I mean, really, like Koreans really need to step it up, okay? People working in entertainment deserve basic human rights, right? Like the right to be compensated for their work, getting enough sleep to rest, okay, to recharge before the call time the next morning, getting meals regularly on set. There's a very high demand for K-pop and Korean dramas and Korean film around the globe, but this high demand, right? This high demand doesn't quite match the compensation, okay? Even though there's a high demand and there's a big market, the people are just overworked and not paid enough. So the indentured servitude of these systems, they need to stop. And Lord knows I've had my share of indentured servitude through my 20s in America, working numerous unpaid internships, doing unpaid volunteer work, okay? Even after all that experience, I still wasn't paid enough when I got my first office job, okay? The normalization of unpaid internships needs to end immediately, all right? And if you're, in college or something and you're thinking about getting an internship, try to negotiate a pay because there are jobs that will pay interns, okay? And if there's a job that you really want but it's unpaid, just try to think about it a little bit. It's like, do you want that to be a normalized thing in your life? Do you think it's okay that you just paid tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to college and now you're working for free for the first year or 2 years of your life? I mean, that's bullshit. Try to end that. Try to negotiate a pay for your internships. Chang Hyuk is very similar to Changnara in how prolific he is with his work. He works all the time. He's done a massive range of roles, going from comedic to very dramatic to very weird and excessive to very reserved and very stoic. And he's also done period pieces. Chang Hyuk is a very versatile actor, and he's got passion when he performs, and I think he's immensely talented. I watch him in all the things that he does. You see Chang Hyuk and Changnara revive their chemistry together over a decade later in that show Fated to Love You, which I will be talking about sometime in this summer, and I'm very excited to talk about that. But today, we're going to talk to one of my favorite people in Berlin. Her name is Ezra Karakaya, also known as Ezra Blackrock. She is a German, but her ethnic background is Korean and Turkish. And she is a journalist and an activist. She's based in Berlin. And I love her brilliance. I love her passion for grassroots and community activism. I love her heart and the work that she does. Check out her YouTube show, Karakaya Talk. And I really enjoyed our conversation together. So let's talk to Ezra Karakaya.
Scheiße.
We'll see. You look good.
Dankeschön. You look good.
Thanks.
I remember that jacket, man.
Yeah, this
The
jacket.
badass jacket.
I got it in Berlin. That's right.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I did.
It's good.
Yeah,
It's good.
thanks, man. I think I got it in Prince Lauerberg. So Ezra, you're Korean and Turkish and German. That is the amalgam of identities that you encompass, that you embody. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. What's your Korean name again?
Nayeon.
Na-young.
Nayeon.
Na-yeon. Okay. Oh, that's very pretty. Na-yeon. I don't know too many Na-yeons. I know a lot of Na-young, but I don't know too many Na-yeons.
I don't know too many Koreans, so like to me. I wouldn't know anyways.
Do you have some Korean friends in Berlin, though?
For sure, but it's not a lot of friends. And yeah.
I saw so many Koreans in Berlin. It was so interesting. I mean, quite a few were like tourists or students, but yeah.
No, I do remember hanging out with a lot of Koreans when I was younger, when I was like 16 or 17.
Oh.
But then I kind of distanced myself from that community, or kind of left that community.
Yeah.
Because it was so violent, for me at least, because back then I was much heavier. And they would...
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. They would talk about me in front of me.
They're mean.
And be like, and as if I'm not existing, you know, they'd be like,
yeah.
Oh, man, it's like, 문제야, 진짜. She has to lose weight. As if I'm not there, like right in front of me. And I'm like,
yeah.
I remember I have that memory in my head, and it's so clear.
Yeah.
And I think it was one of the last times I was like part of this whole karaoke party drinking thing. And I don't drink anyways, right? I never drank, so
yeah.
It wasn't. I think that was the last time I was really in contact with a lot of Koreans or like the Korean diaspora.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, good for you for getting out of that. Because it takes a lot of, it takes bravery to distance yourself from a diasporic community that you feel like you identify with. Because you think that, if you leave this community, you might feel lonely, or, you know, you're turning your back on your people, or you're no longer part of a network. I mean, there's a lot of fear around that, the ability to do that, but you did it, and that's big.
Definitely, I agree. But then it's nice, you know, over time growing up and then being able to choose your friends, because the Korean friends that I have now, I really appreciate them.
Yes.
They inspire me, they uplift me, so it's very, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, man. The whole weight thing, I totally hear that. Yeah. I don't know, I have, because I'm teaching a class right now. I'm teaching an undergraduate class at UCLA, a seminar about Korean dramas right now. And there's a student who's writing about this show called Weightlifting Fairy Kim Bok-ju or something. And she was writing about body image, body issues in Korea, like being heavy set and what that means in Korea. And she didn't really have a thesis statement. She didn't really have an argument. And I kept asking her, I was like, what is it that you want to say about this show? And she kept going around in circles around body issues. And then I said, what are the standards of ideal body image and ideal beauty standards in Korea? Give me the measurements. And she was like, I don't know. I was like, does the show say the exact measurements? And she was like, no. I was like, well, there you go. The body standards, ideal body standards, it's a myth. It's a fucking myth. It doesn't exist, and yet they insist that your body is imperfect. They insist that your face is imperfect. I'm like, well, give me the measurements. Give me the golden measurements of what an ideal body is. You don't have it? Then how dare you create this expectation and put it on me? And I was like, that's your argument. And she was like, oh, okay. Right? But that's the truth. Whenever Koreans say your face, it could be a little bit more like this, it could be a little bit more like that, I'm like whose? You know, give me a name. Give me her measurements. And do you have those measurements? No? Then fucking back off. Right? it's the standards are, it's a myth. It's a mythology, and I don't buy it. Yeah.
But then it does still affect us, right?
Oh,
It's like I don't have
all
to
the
buy it,
time.
but then I'll be confronted by it
All the
like every time in
time.
Korea, you know.
At
So
it's a constant, yeah. And I think this dehumanizing and demeaning, the lowering of your self-esteem is just all part of the whole market system, you know, ultimately,
oof,
is to sell stuff to you. And it works. That's why it's
for
there.
sure.
I buy a lot of bullshit all the time, you know. Do you, do you
Yeah,
have that
man.
do you have that problem, like buying?
Of course. Maybe if I could buy tablets so I can just lose weight, I would do it. Actually, there, you know, there's like this in Korea, these things that you can get, shigyukjae,
Hmm.
right? The appetite
It kills your
killing.
appetite?
Yeah.
Oh.
Shigyuk,
Shigyuk
something like that.
Shigyuk something? Okay. Yeah. Shigyuk
So,
meaning appetite. Yeah. Well, that's awful.
I
I
mean, it's
I
awful, but I still get them.
Does it work?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, it's not sustainable, right? I mean,
Oh,
you stop
okay.
eating and then you start eating again. So,
Oh,
like,
okay. Yeah, I love eating. Like there's no stopping me. You know, like right now I'm on this like kind of like weight loss thing right now cuz over the holidays I just put on a lot of weight, and like I don't have the wherewithal. I don't have it to do the intermittent fasting. That's like a big thing in Hollywood right now. Everybody intermittent fast. It's basically anorexia, like half of the week, you know? But I don't have the ability to do it. I like to eat. So I
yeah.
just exercise. I just minimize my food as best I can. Yeah.
For sure.
Shit. Um what when's the last time you've been to Korea?
The last time I was in Korea was summer 2019.
Wow.
That's a long time ago. That for me, it's a
Really?
long time ago. Yeah.
Hmm.
How about you?
It's been longer than that. It was like it was a late fall, winter 2018. So I guess January 2019 is when I left Korea. Yeah.
Hmm.
But I miss it. I understand. So you go back to Korea quite regularly, I suppose.
I do. I Before Corona hit, I was there at least once a year, if not twice a year. And
Damn.
it's I love and I've so during this whole Corona phase, the last
Yeah.
year, I noticed that at many moments I wanted to go to Korea to like be with my family, just
Yeah.
be in Korea, but
Yeah.
also to get away from Germany.
Uh-huh.
It's a way of kind of disconnecting because it makes a difference whether you're in South Africa or in Korea, because in Korea it's like this the time difference, right?
Sure.
It's like it's just a communication just like stops with the people who are here.
Right.
Whereas while I was in South Africa, because it's a time the same time zone,
Uh-huh.
it's as if you're right there, you know. It's as if
Yeah.
someone's just like around the corner. So
Yeah.
I really like going to Korea to disconnect from Germany.
Yeah. How's Germany been during these times for you? Part of your anxiety or no?
For sure, definitely. And it's like I think the first lockdown, to be honest, I needed it and it was good.
Mm-hmm.
It was time off. It was I had to just like be at home, just
Yes.
chill and rejuvenate.
Yes.
And over the summer, Berlin at least acted as if there was no corona.
Uh-huh.
It was nice. We were out, you know. We were
Yeah.
having shisha as always. Like bars were open.
Yeah.
But then now, bruv, this is challenging. I really do miss going out. I miss being with people. I miss meeting my friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
And working and
I'm working, but I mean, but at the end of the day,
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, I am okay. I am well.
Yes.
I'm privileged. I have everything I need. I have my food, I
yeah.
have my,
Your family is healthy
you know,
too?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Alhamdulillah, everything
good.
is okay. So this is just, under these circumstances,
Yeah.
it could be better, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
I understand that too. You know, sometimes like when I'm going crazy, like I forget to be grateful too, you know, like counting your blessings and realizing that like, okay, like at least I have my health, you know? I mean, this is a disease that's killing a lot of people, so.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But Yeah, I was just amazed at like South Korea's response and their ability to get control of this shit and how everybody just listened and just did right. I was just like, man. So that's why they're not even like scrambling and panicking over the vaccines right now. They're pretty chill. They're like, all right, let's slowly roll it out, starting with the elderly, you know? They're not like the US right now, like trying to fulfill Joe Biden's promise, 100 million
What's his promise?
vaccines, 100 million vaccines in 100 days, in his first 100 days in office. That's his promise, yeah. Yeah, oh wow. They're already running out of vaccines. Yeah, it's a mess, man. Our country's a goddamn mess. I mean, Trump got acquitted for the second time. It's awful. Yeah. I was genuinely thinking, I was like, should I like because do you have your Korean citizenship?
I'm not allowed to. Germans are very particular about that.
Really? Because I know since like US and Korea are like allies / Korea's like a neo-colony, I could get a citizen. I could I could reclaim my citizenship if I want, because I was born in Korea technically. You know, this fucked up thing happened. I went to Itaewon to like a club with a friend, and they were like, give us your 신분증, your Korean ID. And I didn't have one. I don't have one, you know, and neither did my friend. She was like, she left it at home, so she only had her passport. And I had my passport, and they were like, no, your 신분증. And I was like, I don't have one. He's like, well, if you don't have it, then it's $40 to get in. And I was like, what? How much would it be if I had my 신분증? He's like, it would be like 20. And I was like, okay. I was like, I'm walking away now, but you know this is wrong, right? He's like, yeah, I know. He didn't care, you know? He just didn't give a shit. Like, that's their way of making extra cash off of quote-unquote foreigners. It's so fucked up, but I don't know. What do you think of that? Like, what do you make of those kinds of scenarios?
Which scenarios?
Like the one I just talked about, like locals charging extra for non-locals to enter their businesses. In a place like Itaewon.
I'm going to give you okay, well.
Yeah.
For me, the context is always important, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too sure about Itaewon, but let's act as if that happened in Berlin. Yeah, let's assume that this was Berghain.
Yeah,
you know, and they were charging quote unquote foreigners.
Yeah,
double fee.
Yeah. Yeah, wouldn't work.
No. I mean, they might try it. I mean, you know, we are, you know, in Germany. They do have they do a lot of racial profiling at the doors.
Oh.
They have a very racist door. Berlin at least is very known to have like very racist door policies.
Oh, wow.
In clubs, and if that happened, I would make sure that there would be people in front of the club demonstrating, and we'd be doing petitions. We'd be going to politics. I mean, this is not because that kind of it just makes no sense, because who is a foreigner and who not, right?
Yes.
And in a country where people, I mean, I could go there and not show them my passport, and they would think that I'm a foreigner.
Yes.
So like that doesn't it doesn't work. In a context in Korea, I guess it's the same, right? But then I'm like, I mean, if if there's, a white American going there,
exactly,
I'd be like, yeah, why not? You know, like, I mean, you profit off of Korea anyway.
Exactly. So like, that's precisely it. It's like, if they're white American, then yeah, maybe. Then I get it, because there's this history of, again, like neo-colonization and all that. But those people probably don't get like the shitty kind of treatment that POC Americans get, or, you know, any person of color besides white, you know, like that they get in those spaces.
That is true.
I would understand if they were like, this is us exercising like our rights, or this is our practice of decolonization in some aspect. If that was the case, I'd be like, okay, more power to you then. But it's like, but I'm like, I was born in Korea. And
Shut it,
and when I'm in the States, I suffer from a lot of racist discrimination. Like, what the fuck? Can't you just give me a goddamn break? You know? Like, that's the hilarious irony. It's like, you're gonna overcharge me? Like, I look like you, bruh. Like, we're talking in our language. What's happening here? Yeah. But yeah, if it happened in these other so-called democratic countries, yeah, there would be fucking riots and shit. But anyway, that's what's happening. Okay, so did you watch like a lot of Korean TV and movies while growing up?
When I was a teenager, yes, I did.
Okay, how did you access these content and shows?
Oof, there were sites, man. There were pages.
Okay.
We knew of them for sure.
Yeah, like the dark web, the illegal sites and stuff.
Like tons of advertisement and like super weird stuff.
Right. That's okay. That's always fascinating to me because why do these quote unquote illegal sites always have like for Asian content? Why do they always have like porn ads? Like,
is that only wait? That's only specific for like Asian content?
I don't know. I mean, that's my assumption because like it's a pattern that I'm noticing. You say this, I notice it here in the States. I mean, I guess technically any illegal sites. Actually, you're right. Like I used to rip like DVDs for this filmmaker I used to do editing for, and those ripping illegal sites also had a lot of porn content. It was very distracting. Yeah. Okay. All right. You're right. I take that back. But like, what were some of your favorite shows that stick out to you in your memory?
My favorite shows, to be honest, there was this one series. Lord, if I just think about it, it just makes me really sad. It was about this very fat woman, and I'm using this word consciously because that's what people wanted to think, right?
Yeah.
Very
I know the show you're speaking of.
And then she got like tons of surgeries. Operations.
I don't know the show you're speaking of.
maybe there's two shows that I remember that I really liked, and both were, the story was the same. Both very fat at the beginning. Something happened. They lost weight, and then they they got to be with their partner. The boo.
That's sad.
The first one, she was kind of a backup singer.
Okay.
Yada yada yada, and then she kind of had all of these surgeries, and then she lost weight, and she was super skinny. Yani not skinny, but yani super skinny. Yani thinner than my small pinky finger.
Okay. Yeah.
That was the one show, and then the other one, what was the name called? Yo. I breathed. I remember when I was in Korea for the second time in my life.
Yeah.
I was maybe, I think, 14. And I watched it with my cousins. And it was the same storyline. This woman that, she wasn't super fat. I mean, they were kind of making her like, not, the way they framed her was something like a person that is, a little overweight, but it's not that bad.
Yeah.
That was kind of the narrative that they were going for. And then obviously there was a guy involved, and then he was like, oh my God, you're so fat, I don't want to be with you. But then after time, he got to know her, and then, he kind of started loving her, and then she was like, you know what? I know my worth, and now I'm gonna lose weight. And every time I watch these shows and like these episodes, I'd be like,
yeah,
it's gonna be me. I'm gonna have my glow up. One day I'm gonna be just like that.
Oh my God. Okay, was the second show, was it Kim Samsun? My name is Kim Samsun?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was Kim Samsun.
Yeah, I love that show.
She was funny. I do remember that she was funny and loud.
She is so hilarious. Yeah. That actress, she's amazing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so, a lot of, like, weight loss related shows. Yeah, because as we know, Korean community, when it comes to that, they're not very accepting of diversity of bodies. Yeah. But there's this book that I was kind of outlining for my students. It's called Curative Violence. And it's about like disabilities and gender and sexuality in Korea. And any kind of body that doesn't seem quote unquote normal is always discriminated against in South Korea. And it's like tied to their war trauma. Yeah. So that's what it is, usually. It's a
How is that connected to the war trauma?
So, like, the Korean War obviously, like, blew everything up, right? Like, the whole peninsula was, like, it was just in rags and it was torn up. And so they spent many decades rehabilitating the country, rebuilding things, getting systems back in place, getting its economy to become more stable, blah, blah, blah. So they were like, okay, we're done rehabilitating the country physically and economically and politically. How now our obsession with rehabilitation needs to go to the bodies. So it goes to the individuals, goes to any person who shows or exhibits disability. So they're like, we have to cure you. We have to cure you. You're fucked up. You're sick. We have to heal you. We have to make you perfect and make you whole. And what that does is it makes the person with disabilities feel like a failure, feel like, like they're abnormal, feel like they're no good. And that also extends in microaggressive ways to people with diversity of bodies, People like you and me, we are perfectly normal, As Buddha would say, we're in our perfect state in our present moment. But Korea, because of its war trauma, is obsessed with rehabilitating everything it comes across. But it's like you could take a break, Korea. Like, you're doing fine, like you're doing okay. Take a break. Leave the people alone. Yeah. Is anything like that, like in Islam, like proverbs or practice at all, like talking about presence, being present, or anything like that?
Definitely. I think just like having, there is this, as a Muslim, you pray 5 times a day, right? And I think that alone, if you stick to your 5 prayers, because I don't currently, you do get into a system that keeps you present. And there's like, so these 5 prayers are mandatory. But then there's more practices that you can do, right? There's zikr, is like the repetition of the names of God, and like where you kind of get to a trance state. And to be honest, the days, I can't even speak of weeks, the days where I really did practice all of my 5 prayers, life gets so much easier. And then I get angry at myself because I know the answers, right?
Yes.
I know that's the answer. I know this is the answer. Esra, if you do your 5 prayers, it's gonna be fine, right?
Yeah.
And I told you at the beginning, like that today, for example, is a day where I have a lot of anxiety. So
Yeah.
if I could just do that, I'd
There
be
you
okay.
go.
But I'm not doing it. Why am I not doing it? I don't get myself. I don't get this person. What is going on?
Yeah.
Habibi, honey.
I know. We are always standing in our own way. Yeah.
But why? Why, Yani? I just don't understand. How can I be so stupid? What is? Just me like telling you this, and I'll promise you, probably once we're done with this, I'll just go to my couch,
and not
lay
do
down,
it.
be like, not do it, and just be in my anxiety.
100%. 100%. Yeah. It's because you feel anxious. That's why you're not. So you're not gonna do it. Yeah.
Oh man.
Hey, have you seen this really beautiful movie called Minari?
No. Is it a good one?
Oh, it's really great. A Korean American filmmaker made it. It's called Minari, and Steve Yeun is in it. Korean actresses Han Ye-ri and yuh-jung are in it. 2 young Korean American actors are in it. I think they're Korean American, and it's set in Arkansas, like very rural, like America, very white, very farmer like, and it's about this Korean American immigrant family trying to make it there as farmers. It's so beautifully made. I I had so much anxiety when the trailer was out because I saw the film campaigning since January of last year because it won awards at Sundance, and I was like, okay. I mean, Steve Yeun is in it. You know, I know this filmmaker. I've seen his other films, but I just couldn't get myself to actually watch it because there were these clips and they were so triggering. You know, I was like, fuck. Like, I know what that's like. I know exactly that precise moment. But then that's what makes the show so great. He can capture those precise moments that immigrants would understand, that Korean immigrants would understand. That it's like a code. You know, you see it. And, you know, like white people will be like, oh, this is so beautiful. It's like a lovely immigrant story. I'm like, don't you understand how traumatic this is for some of us? Like, it's like painful for some of us. You know, like you're missing the fucking point, Sundance, you pieces of shit, you know? But it is so well edited. The editing on this movie is so good. The musical score on this movie is so beautiful. It got shortlisted for the Oscars. It's such a beautiful score. And like everybody's performances is just like really excellent. And it's not like sappy and over the top dramatic. It's like a very quiet,
Right.
you know, realist kind of pacing. It's a lovely film. I think you'd love it. Yeah.
What I sometimes feel like is like when there's really good movies out in anywhere, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It sometimes feels like Germany is the last country that gets to, you know, access these videos. It's just very, we're just very slow. It's like I'd be like, oh, okay, so Oscars tamam, shortlist is tamam, so maybe 3 years, and then we can watch it. If we're lucky, 2 years. So like, I don't even want to get my hopes up because it's so hard to like access.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think you'll get it
series.
sooner. I think because it won awards at Sundance and there's like some Oscar buzz around it, so I think you'll get it sooner. Yeah. But I remember seeing this movie, a really great film in Berlin called The Favorite, and it's a hilarious movie. It's very funny, but nobody was laughing. Like I was the only one cracking up in the theaters. It was a very lonely and jarring experience for me. I'm like, don't you Germans find this funny? It's so funny. God damn.
Wait, what movie was it?
The Favorite.
No, I don't. Okay, no.
It's by this Greek filmmaker. It's amazing. Yeah. I think you'd like that movie too. It's got a lot of bunny rabbits in it. Okay. Do you have any like interest in engaging in like transnational activist politics across like Korea and Turkey and Germany?
Not really.
Mm.
And I wish I was as well as connected to local activists as I am in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
But not growing up in Turkey and Korea. And also like whenever I go to Turkey, I go to the village straight, like Yani airport's village, and then I stay in the village, and then it's mountains, and then like even like just a couple of years ago we didn't even have internet in the village, and
Right.
like 10 years ago we didn't even have roads, you know. So it's not a place to like meet a lot of activists.
Got it.
And in Korea, so what's interesting is when I was very young, we didn't have the money to go to Korea often. So I went there when I was, I think, 6. That was my first time when I was in Korea.
Yeah.
Or maybe younger, 5 or 6. And then when I was 14, and then I started going after I graduated high school. So like since the age of like 18, I've been going there regularly. But back then I only started politicizing myself when I was like 23, 24. So the time when, you know, I did like an exchange year in Korea when I was 19, 20. And that was a time where I still believed in world peace. I believed in the United Nations. I believed in like, you know, we're all going to get like, you know, this is all going to be over. It's going to be just this, you know?
Yeah.
And then obviously when you have that kind of mindset, you do not connect with activists because as I feel like, and that's just, you know, my personal thesis.
I understand.
As an activist, you will always look at things more critically. And I think since then, yes, since I've been like, yes, I'm in Korea regularly, but then you stick to the people that you already know, and it's really hard for me to kind of meet the people when I'm in Korea.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm also my family, you know.
Yeah.
I love my family, but
Yeah.
they're not activists, you know.
I understand that. Then, okay, it sounds like Turkey then with the mountains and village. It sounds so beautiful. It sounds like this kind of escape for you, like a break into nature and into like kind of idyllic kind of living. And Korea is like another form of that, like it's family and it's gathering and things like that. And then in Germany is like where you do all the political stuff.
Definitely. And to be honest, I don't feel responsible for Turkey or Korea because I've been born and socialized in Germany.
There you go.
This right here, and even if it's not Germany, Berlin at least, that's my responsibility. And I do remember, and I think it was in 2014, I did this internship in Palestine, in Beit Sahur. And I was so angry. You know, when you're there, you get to see and witness a lot of things that just get you very angry. And I had this moment where I was like, okay, how can I change this? But then there was this crucial moment where I understood it wasn't I didn't have the power to change anything there or somewhere else, but I do have the power to change these little tiny things in my own house in a way, right? Sometimes even though I feel like Germany's doing a lot to not make me feel like this is my house, I'm grateful for the people that help me politicize because I'm reclaiming that. I'm reclaiming these spaces and I'm making sure that people see people like me and see people who are more marginalized than me.
Right.
And that's when I feel like, okay, this is my responsibility and I can also hold myself accountable.
I like that. You know, that's why grassroots activism matters so much. Like, I mean, I feel like grassroots is activism. That's political work. That's political labor. It is.
Definitely.
You know? Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, that's what Stacey Abrams did in Georgia, you know? I mean, it's all grassroots. It's like when you're seeing it happen in front of you with your hands, with your words, with the people who are right there. That's what politics, that's what activist politics is. That is political practice.
But you know what's interesting is, so I work as a journalist and like mainly as a video producer and video journalist, right? And what I focus on is getting people in front of the camera and getting people behind the camera who are normally structurally marginalized in Germany, right?
Yeah.
And what's interesting is oftentimes people like to ask me how I could call myself a journalist if I do activist work. And I'm like, how is the just representation of the peoples that live here, how can that be a political thing? How can that be an activist thing? That shouldn't be, it's not an opinion. It's not something it's not an opinion I'm trying to like impose on people.
Right.
It's right. So it's like, it's very hard to kind of, when someone asks that question, even I struggle explaining.
I don't like that question.
Me neither. I don't like it. I agree. I don't like it.
It's a useless question, I feel like.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Because the inherent, as a journalist, that's what you're meant to do. You're not meant to like be part of a machinery that gets just news going out, part of the industry.
Every journalist is part of that machinery. Come on. I mean, it's, to some extent we are. Like, how are people not opinionated? How do people not have values? They have them. They associate with the news corporations are ideological machines. Come on. Like, Fox has its ideologies, NBC has its ideologies, CNN has its ideologies. Like, they come on. Like, the New York Times has its ideologies. We're not apart from them, and we're individuals. We're people. We're human beings.
Exactly.
And ultimately, the stories that you're interested in, they're human stories. It's about humanizing these people.
Yep.
Are you working on anything right now?
I'm still doing my show.
Yes.
I'm not sure whether we talked, but we 2.5 years ago I started the show on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it's we curate topics and experts that are relevant for millennials of color, or German millennials of color, or rather, no, it's millennials of color who are based in Germany. It's not necessarily, they don't have to be German. And so I did that for a year, and then we were in a deal with a public broadcasting station that didn't work out. So we're now independent again, and I love the journey that we're in right now. Is we're continuing to produce our show, and I'm not only working as a journalist and as a moderator and host, but also now I get to really explore my entrepreneurial side, understanding business models, understanding how do you monetize journalistic content? How do you just generally monetize content that is accessible for everybody? So it's challenging. It's so challenging.
Of course, yeah.
But I love it. I love these questions, and I love, diving right into that.
Yeah. Are you working on a book or anything? Do you think you want to write a book?
People have been asking me that, and I'm like, yeah, I can write a book, but Yanni, what do I write about? I don't even know. It's like, and I hate writing, and I know. So the thing is, when I speak, I feel like I can get the mood across.
Yes.
And people know what I mean,
Yeah.
But when I write, it's like,
it's different.
How do I phrase it in a way where people know what kind of mood I'm going for? So yeah, no, but to answer, no, I'm not working on a book right now.
Yeah, maybe you don't need it, honestly. It's just, yeah, sometimes.
Well, maybe I do, maybe it's another stream of revenue,
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, once you have a topic, yeah, but okay. Let me ask you some flashcard questions, all right? So the show that I chose for this episode is called Successful Story of a Bright Girl. And it came out in 2002, I want to say. A long time ago. It stars Jang Nara and Jang Hyuk. And it's about like this working class girl, she has a lot of moxie. Yeah, she has a lot of moxie, and that reminded me of you. So let me ask you. So let's say you're an 18-year-old girl in high school. Your name is Yang Sun. Okay, your parents are scam artists. All right, and they swindled your neighbors out of all their money, and they fled. They just ran away, and now the neighbors come to you to get that money. What do you do?
I continue this game. I mean, listen, there's no point in trying to convince them that I'm, because at the end of the day, their money is gone, right?
Yeah.
The money is stolen, so I can't change that, and I'm not responsible to get them the money back. So you know what? Might as well just.
Yeah. Take after your parents' footsteps. Okay, I understand.
Exactly.
Very nice. All right. That wasn't an answer I was expecting. I like that. Okay. All right, so you're the same 18-year-old high school girl, okay? And you were forced to leave your grandmother behind in the countryside, and you were forced to leave your home, and you go to work as a housekeeper in Seoul for a rich family in order to pay back this debt. And the girl who lives in the house that you work at, okay, she treats you like crap. And one day, that rich girl, while she's driving, she accidentally runs over your grandmother who came to visit you. And your grandmother dies. I know. And you have no evidence that this bitch killed your grandmother. What do you do?
Oh, I would do some kind of psycho shit with this woman. Something, Yani, she will be, I want her to be sorry. I'm going to get her to a place where she'll be sorry. And I'm not going to get my fingers dirty. I'm not going to murder her. I'm not going to hurt her because that's too easy. That's too easy for her if she's rich. Yeah. And I'm not rich. She's rich. So, be very smart about it. Be very slick about it. Have my plan ready. And then make her, maybe not torture her physically, but torture her, mentally.
Play mind games with her.
I feel terrible saying this, but I mean, she deserved it.
Yeah.
Okay, no.
Okay,
wait. Listen. I feel obliged to also mention that, in my Muslim practice or Islamic practice, I should also be adding that I don't have to do anything. I can just it's my responsibility to forgive and let go, and Allah will take care of it.
Yes.
This is what I would do if I would pray 5 times a day. Not praying 5 times a day. So خلاص, she's gonna be out. She's nope.
Okay, got it. Got it. Very good. Okay. So let's say you're some rich asshole guy. You're very wealthy. You're a man. Your name is Han Ki-tae. Okay. You grew up rich your whole life. All right. But your parents, when you were a child, they died by drowning. Okay. So you grew up as an orphan. But Yang Sun, the 18-year-old girl with the dead grandma, she cleans your house. That's her job. And you find her so annoying. Can't stand her. But one day, you take Yang Sun to your cosmetics company makeover event. And after the makeover, when you look at her, she is so hot. She's so attractive. And you develop feelings for her, okay? But you're too embarrassed to admit that you have feelings for this country hick, okay? But now she's about to move back to her house in the countryside. She's about to leave your side. What do you do?
Dang. I mean, this is a tough one. Because if I am this man, rich, Korea, I'll probably not give a damn about nothing and just be like, I'll do anything to keep her here. And she probably doesn't even have a choice, even if she says no, right?
Yeah.
But if there was... Wait, let me think about this for a second. What would I mean, it's not... Okay. Feelings... And that moment, I believe him. I believe me that I have authentic feelings for Yang Sun, right? I love you. But I'm also noticing that I have these other feelings that make me feel ashamed of me falling in love with someone who's not in my class, you know? If we talk about it.
Wow.
So I need to understand and reflect on why I have these kind of feelings, you know? Not the love feelings, but why do I feel this resistance?
Yeah.
And then I feel like, okay, I should be going to this woman, be like, I love you. I want you to be my boo. But I also have these other feelings, and I think I need to work on them. So let me read books on classism. And let me see how I can become an ally and how can, change the system.
It's the best answer. Oh my God. Why don't all the men in Korean dramas say exactly that?
Yani, it's easy.
I would be all over that. Oh, I love it. Okay. Beautiful
because
answer.
It would be too easy. It'd be too easy for him to just go and be like, I love you, and not think about, not acknowledge.
Yes.
Right?
Radical honesty, self-reflection, education. Oh, it's beautiful. My God.
And it's okay to feel the shame.
Yes.
But it's not okay to continue with that, right?
Yes.
It's like, okay, let's acknowledge the shame.
Yes.
What are we going to do with that?
Yeah.
Where is it coming from? Do the work. If I would be doing the work, I wouldn't have anxiety. So I know it's hard. I know it's tough.
Yes. Oh, I love these answers. Okay, great. Okay. So you're the same rich asshole guy, Han Ki-tae, and your enemies in the company, they mess with your stocks and you lose all of your assets. You're flat broke. You lose your house, you lose your car, you lose all of your money, all your credit cards don't work. You're flat broke. You're living on the streets. What do you do?
I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is Allahu Alim. This is a test from God, and I know that I will, I only get the test that I'm ready for.
Yes.
So be calm, I'll be grateful, and I'll keep on going. But if we assume that this person, that this rich dude that I am, didn't grow up as a Muslim.
Yeah.
Well, okay, what would I do?
Yeah, you're living off the streets. It's raining. You're hungry. You have nowhere to go.
I mean, the thing is, revenge is not going to make me happy. I can go for the people, right, and try to, take them down. Okay, tamam. But first, resentment is going to eat me alive from the inside. That's one. Second of all, tamam, okay, you got your revenge, but it's not going to change anything because it's a system that allowed it, right?
Yeah.
So it makes more sense, to understand capitalism, to understand classism and, mobilize, get your friends together and then find your tribe, get strong, change, that I think that's going to be the most sustainable and most healing way.
Yeah. I think you're ready for anything. Yeah. I think you're ready. You have all the answers. Yes. Okay, amazing. All right. Last question. I love these answers. Okay. So you're the same guy, Han Gi-tae, who lost everything, right? So you start stealing from the cosmetic company that fired you unjustly, okay? And you start selling their products for 70% off, just wholesale to these ajummas at buildings, okay? So your enemy, the guy who fired you, he calls the cops on you. He gets you arrested. And he forces you to get on your knees and beg for forgiveness. And on top of that, he takes away your dead parents' wedding rings that you always wore as a necklace on your chest. So out of vindictive rage, you take a knife and you threaten to stab and kill him. I mean, you have the knife at his throat. But then Yang Sun, the little girl, she shows up. And she screams in front of everybody that she loves you. What do you do?
Okay, there's this German expression that I need to say right now.
Yeah.
If I was in that situation and this woman will be coming from the side, I would say, Halt dein Schnauze, verpiss dich. What are you doing? Just get the fuck out. This is not about you. Why you think this is about you? Why you think? Habibi, you have your own drama. Go have you play your own drama. Don't get into my own drama. I have this perfect script in front of me. I mean, the spotlight was on me. I was meant to be the hero at this moment, regardless of the consequences. So who are you? No, my friend. Go. If you want your own drama, go do your drama with someone else. No. I'd be really pissed.
Wow.
I'd be like, time out, stop, just a moment. I'll just go to her and be like, okay, girl, listen, can you just like not do this right now? This is really important for me. Please. Wallah, please go. I give you cosmetics 70% off.
Okay. Wow. Okay, so it would be more about like she's stealing your thunder. That's the most annoying part about this.
Of course. I mean, what?
Wow.
Okay, the thing is, because listen, I'm already, so there's this rich dude company guy who already called the cops on me.
Yeah.
I'm already enraged. I already have the knife on his throat.
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, to be honest, I don't think I would want to kill him. No, that's too easy.
Yes.
I'm not going to make it that easy for him.
Yeah.
But I will injure you, my friend. I will make, something in your this shoulder and then this shoulder and then maybe in your face. People should know. People should recognize a liar and a thief and someone who's not, Yani, and I'm already at that point. So even if she stops me, I would have already taken the risk.
Yeah.
People would have witnessed me taking this risk.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have gotten anything out of it. That'd be so tragic. Just imagine if I did that and then she came like in between and then nothing happened.
Right.
This is so unsatisfying.
Ugh, I know. What a letdown.
Is that what happened?
No, she screams "I love you" and then he decides not to kill him.
Oh my God, Digga, halt dein Schnauze. Oh my God. Digga, see? She thinks it's all about her. I love you. See? I told you. She really thinks she's the center of everything.
She does. Well, I mean, the show's technically about her, so it's okay.
No, but still, though. No. I mean, you can make shows about narcissists, but...
Yeah, you're right, that this was a moment. This was a very climactic moment involving him and his revenge. And she did kind of intervene. You're right. And
then he went to jail anyways, didn't he?
No.
See, okay, listen.
They let him go.
In real life, this is not going to happen. In real life, you fuck anyways. If you are poor and there's a rich man who doesn't like you,
you're out.
Habibi, and do what you got to do and then erase everything. Get away, change your face, change your name, change everything. Go leave the country.
Yeah.
I mean, no. You if you don't have money, you're gonna lose to money. Money is always gonna mess you up, or people with money. So
yeah, I know that's what we poor people like to say.
Wait, you think someone who's rich wouldn't say that something like that?
They say that to appease the poor. But they don't actually believe it. People with money love money. There's no way around it. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, absolutely. You guys, I got more fan mail. Hello. I'm loving all the fan mail you guys keep sending me. So keep them coming. I will read them. I will read them and I will talk about them on this podcast. So send me the fan mail. I need the affirmation, okay? So much money goes flying out of my pockets to do this podcast. I am not compensated to do these podcasts, and hearing from you, knowing that there are people listening, this gives me energy. This gives me joy. So please keep the letters coming. If you have questions for me, ask. If you have shows that you want me to talk about on this show, send me recommendations. I will respond. All right? So do it. So let's read this fan letter. Hi, Grace. Watching K-dramas and listening to podcasts have been my saving grace during quarantine. That means I am loving your podcast. Thank you. I am so curious as to what you think of Yee-Seo-jin / PD Na's collaborations, like Yoon's Kitchen and Yoon's Stay, 3 Meals a Day, Grandpa's Over Flowers, etc. I am hooked and would love to hear what you think about these shows. Muchas gracias, Ada. Thank you, Ada, for that lovely letter and your kind words. Hearing from you, to know that you are enjoying my podcast, that's my saving grace during this quarantine, so I appreciate you. As for Yee-Seo-jin and NAPD's collaborations, I mean, I'm a fan. First of all, like, NAPD is a huge part of Korean variety show industry, right? Like, he's very much well known for 2 Days, 1 Night, which is a variety travel show that started, I think, in 2007, I want to say, in Korea. And it's kind of modeled off of Infinite Challenge and that Real Variety take a little bit, except they have more of a gimmick. Like, they travel to a specific destination, they eat the food there, they engage with the local culture there, and it's sort of like this public broadcast educational program that also works as like a tourism sort of how do you say, tourism porn? I don't know how else to describe it other than porn. Yee-Seo-jin started out with NAPD doing 1박 2일, so 2 Days 1 Night. That's how they started their collaborations, and since then they haven't stopped. So Grandpa's Over Flowers, for instance, which was very, very popular in Korea, that was adapted by NBC here in America to feature some old white male geezers who used to be stars, who still are stars, and they just travel from place to place, just eating the local food and engaging with the local culture. And I would say more problematically so with NBC's show, right? Because like I think there's this one episode when they go to Asia, like they go to Japan, and they're just like kind of otherizing all the like the Asianness or all the Japanese culture stuff. So that was a little bit awkward to watch. Like, I don't think that's a very progressive sort of programming. But when it came to 2 Days, 1 Night, at the time when I was watching it, I was such a fan of that show. I watched that show religiously. Yeah, in fact, my dissertation, which I just submitted to my advisor, the final draft, like this is the one that I'm filing. So I'm very, very close to finishing my grad school career. Thank you. In that dissertation, I talk specifically about Korean variety shows, and NAPD and Yee-Seo-jin's work is very much a part of the historicizing that I do in my dissertation. And I love Yoon's Kitchen and Yoon's Stay. Like, yuh-jung, who is nominated for a bunch of awards. She won the BAFTA recently for Minari, her role in Minari. I think she's immensely talented, and anything she does is just gold. So I think Yee-Seo-jin and NAPD are lucky to have Yoon Yuh-jung, such a revered star actress, to do these variety shows, right? Because when it comes to doing television work, and when it comes to doing especially a specific kind of television work, like a variety show where you're supposed to reveal parts of your private life, for a movie star, that can be that can feel like a compromise, you know, because like when it comes to film, it's all about invisibility and glamour, right? Making things seem as if they are perfect on screen. But when it comes to variety shows, variety TV shows, it's the exact opposite of that, right? You get rid of glamour, you reveal everything, you expose everything. There is no invisibility. So, in that regard, I would say yuh-jung is very brave for doing that, and I really admire her work and her career. So, thank you for your question, Ada. So, next week, you guys, I'm going to be talking about yet another old school Korean drama. I'm just in an old school kick right now. They don't get as much views or listenership, but it's fine. I'm going to be talking about a show called All In, starring Song Ye-kyo and Lee Byung-hun. Okay, that happened. Song Ye-kyo and Lee Byung-hun did a show together. All right, and they also got engaged right after doing it. So there you go, a little goss. Okay, so that's a 2003 show out through SBS. So I will be talking about that show next week. And folks, just as always, follow me at K Drama School on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter. Please visit kdramaschool.com to learn more about this podcast. You can email me, as I mentioned. You can email me to kdramaschool@gmail.com, and I will be sure to respond. So thank you all for listening, and I will see you next week.